Now it's time to break it.
And welcome back.
Welcome back.
Or hi, if this is the first episode you watch.
To the SplitScreeners podcast. We are your hosts. I am Nick Lindblom, joined as always by Gavin Campbell,
Yo.
Aaron Mazaros, and Zach Renner.
Hello.
I think we're going to talk about some sports, right?
Yeah, in this episode we're going to be going over sports. We're going to obviously go over NFL news. We just watched the Royal Rumble, so we'll go over that as well.
Which was sick.
But we'll start with a random question. If you could not have to practice and be perfect at any instrument on the planet, what instrument would you choose?
Guitar. I mean, that's hands down electric guitar.
Okay. All right.
I was going to say that, but I refuse to have the same answer. I'll go cello.
Ooh, sexy.
Oh, God.
The recorder.
Like, become a master at it?
The recorder. Ooh, how about the harmonica?
Like, if I became an instant master of an instrument, there are two things that come to mind. And they're weird.
Okay.
Alright?
Bagpipes?
No. A harp.
That's be cool.
Because a harp,
Harp would be cool.
I was like, a harp is a very difficult instrument and I'm like,
What kind of harp?
a big one. I don't care.
a big ass one.
A stringed harp.
Oh, a string harp.
Yeah.
All right.
And, oh God, what are they called?
The ukulele?
No. I have the ukulele.
I know.
It's
Now
really
you can
easy.
master it.
No, it's the, what are they called? It's like
Recorder.
like the long, like the African style,
A
Oh,
didgeridoo.
didgeridoo. A master didgeridoo player would be
Steph, what's that
fun.
Pokemon?
I've been trying to learn guitar over the last couple of days. That's what made me think about this. Guitar, I think, is a cool choice because not only do you learn guitar, but from that you have the basics to play things like the bass, banjo, ukulele.
Honest, I will say this, as like, if you can get a hold of a ukulele for pretty cheap, it translates like perfectly over, and the ukulele has less strings.
Yeah. But if I could be perfect at an instrument without having to practice, I would probably pick drums. I think that would be the most fun instrument, but
Yeah.
also very expensive.
Yeah.
Before we get started, whether you're new here or not, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe, like, comment.
Smash that like button.
Turn that notification bell on. We are releasing 3 to 4 episodes every week. And like I've been saying in every episode, we're just doing this to have fun. This is just an excuse for all of us to get together and
Hang out, talk
and hang out. So, but we will get right into sports news. I figured we would start with the Royal Rumble. Well, you live here. I live here. These two came over so we could watch the Royal Rumble together.
Wait, I live here.
Shit. So we'll just start with that since that's kind of still fresh on everybody's brains, even though it ended like 6 hours ago now. First match of the night: Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. I'll be honest. I was going for Seth Rollins in this match. I thought that it made sense. Because I thought that Roman might enter into the Royal Rumble later and win the match. Roman did end up beating Seth Rollins by disqualification because he put him in a chokehold and wouldn't let go after Seth Rollins grabbed the rope. He then viciously beat his ass down with a chair.
He had it coming.
I really, really enjoyed this match, man.
I agree.
It was a good
I got
match.
really into. I do want to ask: is it legal for the ref to grab the wrestler's hand and throw it on the rope?
It's
I don't-
wrestling, anything.
I don't think he was trying to throw it on the rope. So when a wrestler passes out, he's supposed to pick up their arm and drop it. And if it happens 3 times,
If he happens to put it over the rope and drop it.
Which is exactly what happened.
he did.
So I thought that was a little cheap, but that wasn't
was
the
a little
only
cheap.
cheap thing that happened
In that
tonight.
fight.
It was at first the cheapest thing turned into the least cheap thing that followed. That was there.
This match started off great. Seth Rollins came out to the old Shield music, walking through the crowd in his old Shield gear. It was hilarious. The look on Roman's face was hilarious. And I thought the match had some really good spots. Roman went for a spear at one point that Seth
Perfectly predicted.
turned into a pedigree. It didn't look perfect, but I thought it was a really cool way to do that. Overall, as far as like one-on-one matches, I thought this was the best match of the night.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think the right person won. Because of events that happened later in the night that they set up for, I think that this was the best result. But Seth does deserve another opportunity with the title. He is such a fun character, and he's so good in the ring and so good on the mic.
Seeing him come out as a Shield was cool too.
Yeah.
I like Seth Rollins, but like Roman Reigns, I like more.
Is your daddy.
Yeah, I would like to see Seth win stuff, and I don't mind him fighting, like his style and everything. Roman Reigns, I rank above him.
That's right.
Yeah, I've liked Roman Reigns since the Shield started.
Yeah.
So was been a big fan of him all along, and I like his heel turn.
Yeah, I like Roman a lot more now. I think the heel turn was very much needed. It's something I was worried was never going to happen. Kind of like what they did with John Cena.
Since day one, I said he'd make a great heel, and then they finally did. Seth Rollins don't really care for, but he's fine. I just think he was the worst part of the Shield out of all three. And I wish Dean would come back.
Dane! John Moxley. After this match, I think it went straight into the Women's Royal Rumble match.
Yeah.
From the jump, I mean, Royal Rumble matches in general are not it's not a technical class of wrestling you're watching. You're not watching because people are putting on great moves. You're watching just because it's cool to watch all these wrestlers come back. And we did have some amazing wrestlers come back. Michelle McCool came back. Lita was in this match. Obviously, we had all of our normal wrestlers we see nowadays. Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair. And then, of course, we had the return of Ronda Rousey, who ended up winning this match.
Is there a least charismatic WWE wrestler right now? No.
I don't think so. I don't like this simply for the fact that she's been gone for so long. And then she comes back, she automatically gets a title shot at WrestleMania. I have nothing against Ronda Rousey winning the Royal Rumble. I think that she's going to have a great match with either Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
But you would have preferred her to have some build up.
Yeah. I don't think it's fair to all these women that have been working their ass off for the last 2 years while Ronda Rousey was sitting at home. This is the Royal Rumble used to be, or maybe it's just what I projected in my head. It is a real opportunity for somebody who doesn't get these shots as often to actually get a shot and try and prove themselves. And I mean, Ronda's done this. I mean, we've seen Ronda fight in these big moments and win titles. And there were some fun spots. I thought that, seeing some of the women fight, it was cool seeing the Bella twins back.
Yeah.
We were all hoping that Paige was going to come back. Unfortunately,
if anybody was going to come in and win, it should have been her.
That would have been cool.
If you're watching this page, and if you are, that'd be amazing.
Like and
please
subscribe.
Yeah.
Share it with your friends.
Come back to WWE.
Please share it with Ronnie Rankin.
Please come back to WWE.
I mean, she's there. She's just.
Please participate.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it wasn't bad for what it was. I'm not a huge fan of the ending.
Yeah.
It is a Royal Rumble match, but, I mean, it's worth a watch.
Oh, yeah.
Right after this, we got Becky Lynch versus Doudrop.
That was insane.
It was a pretty fun match.
Yeah.
For two women that...
Vastly different classes.
Plus, I mean, Doudrop doesn't have the tenure that Becky has.
Yeah.
Becky is one of the best female wrestlers, I think, on the roster. Doudrop's still newer to the main roster. They put on a good match. I thought the ending was good. I like what in WWE they call a clean finish, which is just when there's no disqualification or interference.
They actually stick to the rules.
Becky Lynch did win this by pinfall after hitting a great move off the second rope.
Yeah.
It looked phenomenal. I don't know what this means for Becky. I don't know what it means for Ronda. I don't know what it means for Charlotte.
Maybe just like an ongoing feud.
I think Becky will move on to somebody else. I just don't know if it's going to be Ronda or if Ronda's going to go after Charlotte Flair, and then Becky will find somebody new, maybe Sasha Banks, or I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. Any of you guys have any?
I hope it's not Charlotte Flair. I'm just not a big fan of Charlotte Flair at all.
Yeah.
I thought
But
she
I'm not a
lasted
fan
too
of Ronda
long.
either.
I thought she lasted too long in the Royal Rumble.
Charlotte?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely other people I wish would have had more of an opportunity in there.
Yeah, they in both Rumbles there were eliminations that were shocking at how early they went out.
Yeah.
I kind of, I was like you're saying, like a bigger opportunity for some of the people that don't usually get the opportunities, but isn't it still? I was like, suspend the disbelief here. Isn't it still like they already knew who was gonna win?
Yeah.
I was like, obviously, like there's some structure to it, but I feel like the Royal Rumble, since it is supposed to be an opportunity, should be more of a
Free for all?
free for all, like an actual like whoever wins wins, not a this person's gonna win. Doesn't matter when you get out there. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be cool because I think we'd get better performances from a lot of these wrestlers if especially in the Royal Rumble when it's kind of fucking a mess anyways.
Yeah.
Like they could still have their scripted moments, like when they're coming in, when they're getting thrown out of the ring. You know, they can
I
still
think
have
with
those
that
scripted
many
moments.
people, though, you kind of have to have it more scripted to keep the chaos to a minimum and less people getting hurt.
Yeah. Well, and if you're really going at it, and guys are participating at 100% because they know like this could be my shot, all of a sudden you're gonna have 20 guys in the ring at the same time because nobody's getting eliminated.
Yeah.
Which
is also true. Which, again, it's perfectly valid.
it's hard.
I would like some of WWE's stuff to not be scripted. I think it would be better.
Yeah.
If it was a real sport.
I was
Whoa.
like, it's a real sport for how it is now. Like, great athleticism from all the wrestlers.
Absolutely.
Entirely. Like, I couldn't do that shit. I would want to do that shit. That seems like fun.
I've tried to do that shit.
Right.
But at the same time, like, like as soon as Ronda Rousey came out, we kind of knew that she was probably going to win.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's one of those things, like, well, none of us wanted to, but I was like, Nick,
I
say I didn't want to.
I didn't want her to win.
And like, it's just frustrating. Like, cause I like watching wrestling and everything, but sometimes it's just easy to be like, to know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Like, who would get more of a reaction in the headlines? Ronda Rousey winning gets the most reactions in the headlines.
Yeah.
I just don't like these bouts where as soon as you see a certain person, you're like, oh, this one's
Yeah,
gonna win.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And I felt that way with both rounds.
I was like, and I don't know if that. And it's like,
and that just takes it away. 'Cause
And
I like guessing.
and I don't know if it's because I'm older now or what, but I feel like the older WWE stuff from the early, like I'm not saying like now's bad or anything, but I feel like it wasn't as easy to tell who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Like it was more of like a who might win here, like it. Yeah. Now it's just kind of we know who's probably gonna win, and if they don't, that'd be cool and be an upset. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, we're like no, probably would. Like when I guessed, I didn't.
Yeah, I
For
guess
my prediction.
more with the opening match with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Because I could have seen that one go either way.
Yeah.
I didn't know when they walked out who was going to win.
I just picked random people for the Royal Rumble. Not because because I wanted them to win. Not because I expected them to win. Sorry.
No, you're good. Just a couple more matches. After that was Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship match. This was also fun. I mean, this is exactly what you expect when you have two guys of this size going at each other. It's just, slobber knocker, haymakers back and forth. Just
It's an entertaining match.
but the ending was
Lashley had
awesome. I thought it was really cool. I mean,
I agree. I enjoyed it.
It riled people up.
so it,
Hit all the right notes.
Day one last month. I don't know if anybody watched that one with me. Roman was supposed to fight Brock, and Roman got COVID, so Brock got forced into that fatal four-way match with the other contestants of Raw. He ends up winning the title, and he doesn't get to have his match with Roman, which I think is obviously where they're building to. So I think it made sense to take the belt off him, give it to Bobby. Roman interfered in the match while the referee was knocked out.
He got hit hard.
Hit him with a spear. Got the belt from Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman handed the belt, Brock Lesnar's belt, to Roman, who then hit Brock Lesnar in the face with it. At that point, a new ref came out. Bobby Lashley pinned him. Bobby Lashley's the new champion, which obviously set up more events down at the end of the show. But I think it's fun. We're gonna get the Roman versus Brock match, which is
that's
what they wanted to do last month. I think that at WrestleMania, Brock does beat Roman. Roman has been champion for a very, very long time. I think it's going to be something they're going to stretch in the summer. Brock will beat Roman at WrestleMania. They'll keep feuding. At SummerSlam, they'll fight again. Maybe Roman wins the title back. But, yeah, I thought it was a cool way to end it. I love the twist with Paul Heyman at the end because you really think that Paul Heyman has aligned himself with Brock, and then he leaves the arena with Roman Reigns. So entertaining for sure. As far as like a wrestling display, it wasn't the best match I've ever seen by a long shot, but
I do like seeing the bigger Goliath type guys, even though I don't like Brock Lesnar at all. Go back head to head, and Bobby Lashley had a really good suplex early on. It kind of looked like a surprise Brock that I enjoyed watching, and I don't remember if he got up to the top rope at all in
I don't
there.
think so.
But seeing stuff like that,
Bruisers typically don't get
Yeah.
up on the ropes.
Or like Bobby crashing through the barricade when he goes to spear Brock through the barricade.
That was cool.
Brock did do a lot of good dodging last second,
yeah.
having Lashley go.
Brock
into,
Lesnar has more
bars.
charisma than Roman Reigns.
It's all the corn.
It's not wrong.
Then we got the mixed tag match. We talked about this last week. I don't mind the mixed tag matches for what they are. I thought it was weird that this was the last match before the Men's Royal Rumble.
Kind of use this one as a bathroom break.
Yeah.
The biggest problem is there's you don't have the same suspense as you do with a regular tag team match. Because as soon as one person tags in their tag partner, if Miz tags in Maurice, automatically Beth Phoenix has to come in the ring because you can't have Edge fighting Maurice. So it was Edge and Beth Phoenix fighting Miz and Maurice. Edge and Beth Phoenix ended up winning after hitting a double spear on the Miz, and then they both hit the, I don't even know, Glam Slam or something like that. It's Beth Phoenix's finishing move. I mean, it's fine for what it is.
Yeah.
I thought that it was entertaining enough. I really do like Edge. Beth Phoenix her hair was fucking dope. It was cool to see her wrestle again.
Didn't she kick the shit out of the Miz at one point?
She kind of looked like a Loy.
Yeah, it went from
With her
rising.
hair.
Yeah, I saw that.
Or what was her name in Kung Fury?
The Viking
The
chick.
Viking chick.
I know what you're talking about. I
Barbarella.
can't remember.
Yeah, Barbarella. That's kind of like the hairstyle and theme she had going on. Which, if you saw, you saw. If you didn't, you didn't.
Probably my least favorite match of the night.
Yeah.
Just because I thought the rest were much. I mean, the rest are really, really good. This one was alright. But it wasn't bad. Just weird the placement. This would have been a lot better, I think, right after the Women's Royal Rumble
Or during the pregame.
or during the pre-show. I'm surprised
The
they didn't do a
pre-show.
match during the pre-show. And then last was the Men's Royal Rumble. Not as many surprises as I thought. I thought we'd get more surprise entrants. Bad Bunny showed up. He wrestled with Damian Priest a lot last year before he went on a world tour for music.
We had the guy from Jackass.
Johnny Knoxville, who was announced a couple weeks ago.
He got out quick.
Yeah, I thought he was going to out somebody.
I think he was there more to get hit
Yeah.
than anything. 'Cause
What
that's
was
what he usually does.
What was really funny? Someone jumped. Who jumped on him? Okay. Someone jumped on. I don't remember. I don't remember either.
Oh, Montez Ford.
Yeah, Montez Ford jumped onto Johnny Knoxville, and you see him where a lot of the obviously he's not a wrestler or anything, but a lot of the other wrestlers don't. Like, they might put it around their chest or usually keep it out.
Or lift their
He
arms.
immediately went straight to his groin. He was like, nope. I just thought that was funny.
The fun part about Royal Rumble is not only obviously do you get a winner at the end that gets to fight at WrestleMania, but because there's so many men in the ring, you get to build other feuds up. So like AJ Styles and Omos used to be a tag team. They've split up recently. You saw that because AJ Styles helped eliminate Omos in the middle of the match. I thought that was super cool. Ricochet broke. God, what is his name? Ridge Holland's nose. A couple weeks ago, maybe last week, on Raw. So he came out with the mask. They feuded for a little bit. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. I mean, it's just fun to build these storylines.
Yeah.
We had heard, they had talked about it a couple weeks ago that Brock, if he lost, might potentially enter the Royal Rumble. So that was something on the back of everybody's mind. He does come out at number 30. There's a few guys left in the ring. He ends up clearing out the ring, ending with Drew McIntyre, which is who eliminated Brock Lesnar a couple of years ago to win. I mean, again, I don't think that this needed to be done. I think that because you have two titles in the WWE, you have Roman Reigns and you have Bobby Lashley. So I don't understand why not let somebody else win.
Yeah.
Challenge Bobby Lashley. You already have set up Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar because Roman Reigns just smacked Brock Lesnar in the head with a fucking belt. So obviously that's set up. I don't think Brock needed to win the Royal Rumble to fight Roman Reigns.
No, it was a disappointing finish.
And if he fights Roman Reigns later on and gets that belt and the other belt, he's gonna have to give one of them up anyway.
Well, he lost the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, he lost
Bobby.
Bobby last year.
Yeah.
One of my
No, go for it.
one of my favorite moments in that is I like Rey Mysterio. I like the agile wrestlers.
Yeah.
Especially Rey Mysterio. He is a very good agile wrestler, especially for his age. The one where he got himself back in, where he got thrown out, and you're like, well, that was him, wasn't he? When he flipped around, grabbed the guy by the head, and flipped himself back in the ring, got him out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool. It was really fluid. It was smooth. It looked cool as shit.
He is really, really good at what he does.
Yeah.
We saw a couple things that were weird. Kofi Kingston's one of my favorite people to watch on the Royal Rumble because he's always saving himself somehow. I think that they just took he took the hit wrong, or whoever delivered the hit delivered it wrong, because while he was on the third rope, somebody pushed him, and he hit the barricade, and I don't think his feet were supposed to touch, and they did.
It almost seemed like the ref was going to pretend that it didn't happen at first.
And
It seemed like they were going to try.
Yeah, and then I'm guessing he
It
had
was-
a call on the headpiece.
It
and
was
he's
too
like-
obvious.
Yeah, he was out. But yeah, because I'm sure he was supposed to catch himself,
Yeah.
get back in the ring somehow. The crowd would have gone wild.
Yeah.
Again, it's the same thing with the women's match. Ronda could have easily come back tomorrow on Raw, came out, beat the shit out of Becky Lynch, or come back on Friday and beat the shit out of Charlotte Flair and gotten her match with them that way. And you could have used the Women's Royal Rumble to, give somebody else a shot. Same with the Men's Royal Rumble. Obviously, Brock was going to fight Roman, so why not let Kevin Owens win? Or, I know, obviously, he's been there a lot, but why not let Randy Orton win and try and build up something with Bobby Lashley? Because now we have no idea who Bobby's going to fight at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think that would have been better.
Overall, it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. I enjoyed most of the matches. I even enjoyed the Royal Rumbles, even though I wasn't a huge fan of either of the finishes. But overall, I'd give it a B, probably.
Yeah.
The Rumbles were entertaining up until the end.
Yeah.
It was mostly
They just-
cool to anticipate who was going to show up,
Yeah.
who wasn't announced.
Unfortunately, both the winners, as soon as they showed up, you knew they were going to win.
And no other Forbidden Door things. So I've been talking about the Forbidden Door the last couple weeks on here. Hoping that...
we had the one.
Yeah,
I was
the
really
one that was
hoping for
announced, Mickie
Dean
James.
Ambrose.
I was hoping for somebody. It might be something that takes time. I think that WWE has definitely taken a positive step by having Mickie James there. And Mickie James wasn't a slouch. They didn't just have Mickie James come in, show off, and get thrown over the rope. She was in that Women's Royal Rumble for a while. So I think that's a positive sign for WWE. Hopefully they continue to be open to working with other companies, because I think that there's no reason for these feuds. I think that wrestling fans in general.
Just
It'd
want
be-
to watch good matches.
Yeah, we'd be blessed to be able to see AEW and WWE matches.
For the fans, yeah. For the companies, it's all licensing and who gets the money.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down
Yeah.
to. Who gets the money, who gets the rep,
Yeah.
who gets
Which
the
is
viewers. And that's always a legal nightmare, and they don't like to cooperate. But good signs, little baby steps.
Yeah. They did announce that the Elimination Chamber, I think, is February 19th. This is another great pay-per-view. So that'll be super fun to watch. So we'll keep track of that. We'll do predictions on that one. Yeah, and we'll do that in a few weeks because that'll be coming up.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll get into NFL news. I didn't have a whole lot else. So we'll start with the weird news coming out of today. I woke up this morning, I went and got breakfast, I went and got coffee, I came home, I started playing some video games, and then at about noon, 1 o'clock, I saw an update on my phone that Tom Brady had retired. I was very excited. I was very happy.
As
This is a day
normal
that
people would be.
This is a day I've been waiting for quite a while now. And then a little bit later, I got an update on my phone that says that he hadn't told the Bucks he was retiring. He hadn't told his dad that he was retiring, and that these reports were false. I still haven't received a whole lot of clarification throughout the day as to what's going on. I don't think he is technically retired at this point. I did read somewhere that if he is on the Buccaneers roster as of February 4th, he will make $15 million of guaranteed salary in 2022. So I don't know if he's just waiting to February 4th, or if that report came out as a hoax and he's going to come out tomorrow and be like, yeah, I'm not retiring.
Like I just signed a new contract.
Like somebody, whoever leaked that is an idiot. I'll be back next season. So
Because isn't this the first year he's with the Giants, isn't it? Or who was he with?
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, yeah. It's like, and didn't they trade a lot to get him, or what?
No, he was a free agent.
Was he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he came over a couple years ago. Won a Super Bowl his first year there.
That's right.
You know, and if he does officially retire, obviously, hopefully I'll know more about that next week.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a lot to go over for him as far as accolades and, you know, what he's accomplished. Because even though I'm not a Tom Brady fan, I also am a football fan, and I can't deny the stuff that he's done for the league and for the Patriots and the Patriots fans, and now the Buccaneers. So if this is the end, it's one of the best careers of all time.
Yeah.
A lot of people call him the GOAT. I don't personally. That's something that we'll probably get into at some other point in time. But, I mean, top 3 career of all time, for sure. I don't think anybody in the world can argue that. So, if he is retired, then congratulations, Tom Brady, on an awesome career. We'll go over more of that next week. We do have one that we know retired. Another quarterback, 2004. Ben Roethlisberger was drafted to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Stayed there for his whole career, 19 years. I don't know a whole lot to say about Big Ben. One of the biggest quarterbacks I've ever seen play football. A massive human, 6'5".
Damn.
Hold on, I have it pulled up right here. 6'5", 240. Out of Miami, of Ohio College, drafted in the first round of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, he went to 3 Super Bowls. He won 2, one against the Seahawks, one against the Cardinals, lost one to the Packers a couple years after that. I mean, probably the greatest Steeler quarterback of all time. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. One of the, I'd say probably top 15 quarterbacks to ever play the game. So, I mean, again, just like with Tom Brady, congrats to Ben for such a successful career.
Yeah.
And good luck on whatever he does in life. I'm sure he's going to do fantastic things, whether it's
Commercials.
broadcasting like Peyton Manning was doing, or commercials, or acting. We don't know. So,
Thank you for all the help you did on my fantasy team whenever I did play fantasy football.
Brooks and Will and I were talking about this. If Tom Brady really is calling it quits and Ben Roethlisberger called it quits, this is there's this generation of quarterbacks that everybody thinks of, and they kind of loop them all in together, and it's Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, and Tom Brady. It's kind of these 5 quarterbacks that started this quarterback revolution into what we've seen now. Drew Brees was in that same group. So if they've both retired, that means every quarterback in that group that everyone's together will all be gone, which is crazy. Those were the quarterbacks that I was watching when I first started watching football. That draft where Ben Roethlisberger got drafted was the first year that I fully embraced football. I remember watching the draft. I remember, that season was my first full season of being a fan, and it's crazy to think that this is a season that might start up where none of those quarterbacks are going to be playing. So, getting old.
Yeah.
Basically what I'm trying to say.
Stop that. Stop doing that.
Quit. In other retirement news, New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton. I don't know if he's retiring, if he's stepping away. I don't think he's going to coach this year. But he has decided to step down from the New Orleans Saints after 15 years being the head coach.
Jeez.
He was the coach, I think, the whole tenure that Drew Brees was there. Him and Drew Brees were amazing friends. They worked really well together. They won a Super Bowl together when Drew Brees won that Super Bowl. Just a awesome dude. Everything I've ever seen him do, press conferences and stuff like that, he always just seems like one of the coolest coaches in the league. And I kind of expected him to retire when Drew Brees left. I thought maybe they'd leave together, but he gave it a couple more years and finally called it quits. So, last one, congrats to Sean Payton. We have some head coaching rumors / hirings that we got to get through before we go over the scores from last week. We'll start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville has not hired a head coach yet, but they have been in contract discussions with Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich was the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers last season, also a former Jaguars quarterback. He was drafted in the first round, 2002, 2003. I know that he did great things with that offensive staff in Tampa Bay. I know that Tom Brady loved him. Being a former quarterback is huge. Jacksonville drafted a quarterback last offseason, young Trevor Lawrence. I think getting another quarterback in there to be his coach and kind of teach him how to play quarterback, I think would be a big step. Definitely the route that I would go. They also requested an interview with Broncos ex-head coach Vic Fangio. I like Vic. He doesn't coach for the Broncos anymore. I wanted him to be gone. But, I don't have anything against him. I just think that'd be the wrong route to go for the Jaguars. I think that you need to get a guy in there that's going to teach their young quarterback the ins and outs of the game and get him to really understand what he's doing out there on the field. Houston Texans, sources are saying that they're leaning towards Josh McCown. Josh McCown was a quarterback in the league for 16 years, mainly a backup, played on a bunch of different teams. A good backup, though. And smart. Again, Houston's going to be another team, just like Jacksonville, who's going to have to go probably get a new quarterback. Mm-hmm. Josh McCown, again, a good option to teach and grow a new quarterback. Last one that I think is almost confirmed. I would guess we get news about it tomorrow or Monday if it actually is happening. Oakland Raiders. I wrote down Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, I think, are discussing a contract currently with Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. He's been the offensive coordinator for the Patriots since 2011. Before that, he was the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Most Denver Broncos fans who were a fan of the team back then will tell you he's the worst head coach in Broncos history. He completely ruined our team for quite a long time until Peyton Manning came into town. But, he's been the offensive coordinator under one of arguably the best coach of all time, Bill Belichick. So if he's learned from him and he gets another opportunity, I think maybe he could do some incredible things with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Cheating.
Yeah, that's 100% going to happen. That leaves the Vikings, the Dolphins, and the Saints all with coaching vacancies. None of them have anybody that is rumored. They're still doing interviews and stuff like that. So hopefully next week I'll have more on that. As far as coaches that have been hired, we have 3 so far. We'll start with Chicago. Am I on them? Oh. Stupid. The Chicago Bears have hired Matt Eberflus as their next head coach. Matt Eberflus was the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. In the past 4 seasons in Indianapolis, Eberflus defense have allowed the 10th fewest points and had the second most takeaways and allowed the 3rd fewest yards per carry. I think that this is a great move for Chicago, who has a fantastic defensive roster. As long as he can get a good offensive coordinator in there to help him grow and develop whatever quarterback's going to be there, Justin Fields, presumably, who they drafted last year. I think that they can get that defense clicking on all cylinders, get somebody to teach Justin Fields. This Bears team can be very, very, very good. So, the New York Giants have hired Bills offensive coordinator Brian Dable. Some of these guys. Brian Dable is actually a member of Bill Belichick's coaching tree. After spending his first 3 coaching years in the college ranks, Dable joined Bill Belichick's staff in 2000 as a defensive assistant. He was then the Patriots wide receiver coach from 2000 to 2006, or 2002 to 2006. He's been the offensive coordinator in Buffalo. Buffalo's been great. They have Josh Allen, who we are going to talk about in a little bit, who has developed into just one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He had a horrible rookie season and just has progressed and progressed. He just had his team playing against the Chiefs last weekend. Has developed really well. So makes a lot of sense that the Giants bring him in. They have Daniel Jones now as their quarterback. I don't know if they stick with him and try to hopefully get that same kind of progression out of Daniel Jones, or maybe draft somebody new. And then last coach hiring, the Denver Broncos hired Nathaniel Hackett. He was the Packers offensive coordinator.
Hopefully he can hack it.
I am a Broncos fan. This is the one that I have the strongest opinions on. I love it. When Vic Fangio got hired, the first thing I said to Brooks and Will is that we needed a culture shift. Vic was kind of the older guy. He stopped letting the players listen to music in practice. Had an issue with players like Drew Lock, who just seemed more wild. Nathaniel Hackett is 42 years old. He's an offensive-minded coach. He seems super smart. I watched his press conference earlier today. He just seems so energetic and passionate about the game. He's excited to start playing music at practices again, and he just wants it to be fun, and he wants a winning environment, and he said all the right things. So, as a Broncos fan, I'm super excited. I hope that this is a new era for Broncos football, because we've had some bad football for the last 6 years. So,
They also got a new player, right?
no, not yet.
Getting?
I don't know. Depends on who you listen to. A lot of people think that Nathaniel Hackett was brought in here to get Aaron Rodgers to come to Denver because they have become very good friends. Aaron Rodgers had nothing but good things to say about Nathaniel Hackett before he got hired to the Broncos. It's such a weird area for me as a Broncos fan. I understand that Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but he's also he's going to be 39 before the end of next season. And is it worth it for Denver to trade a bunch of picks in order to get Aaron Rodgers, who not only is he 39, but he also has shown that he has interest in things outside of playing football. I mean, he hosted Jeopardy. He seemed to have a lot of fun hosting Jeopardy last offseason. Maybe that's something he's interested in. So you don't know. I mean, if you're going to trade away all of this draft capital and stuff to bring him in for 2 or 3 years, is it even worth it? And it's the Broncos. I'm going to root for them no matter what. I really wish that they would either stick with Drew Lock for one more season with Nathaniel Hackett or draft a new quarterback. But, I mean, if they get Aaron Rodgers, they get Aaron Rodgers. I hate the idea of trading away 2 or 3 years worth of picks to get one player, but if that's what happens, that's is 100% why they hired Nathaniel Hackett, I would assume, or at least a large chunk of why they hired him. The last thing that I wanted to get to with coaches, and this is not something that we'll usually touch on this podcast, because I mean, like politics and stuff like that, that's not why we're here. But I think that this needs to be addressed, and I've heard a lot of other people talking about it, and our 15 subscribers should know about it too. After the firings that we had, we have one African-American head coach left in the league, and that's Mike Tomlin. He coaches the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been there forever. In a league that is played by over 60% of African-American players, I think that this is a shocking statistic that there's only one African-American head coach. And even after the hirings, Nathaniel Hackett, white. Matt Eberflus, obviously white. Brian Dable, white. Even the guys that are rumored right now. Josh McCown. Byron Leftwich is African-American. Josh McDaniels, Kellen Moore, John Harbaugh. The NFL had to start a rule a long time ago called the Rooney Rule. And basically what it was is that if you fired your head coach retired, you have to interview an African American for the position. And you'll see it a lot of times where NFL teams will bring somebody in to interview them that you know they're not going to give the job to. All they're trying to do is do the Rooney Rule. It's asinine to me. There's so many. Brian Flores from the Miami Dolphins got fired this offseason. Took the Dolphins from a horrible team for a long time into a team that was fighting for a playoff spot this season. Somehow got fired. Eric Bieniemy, he's the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. I've heard differing things. He doesn't call plays for the Chiefs. I heard that that's a thing that a lot of people don't like. But, I mean, obviously an intelligent mind. The Chiefs have one of the best offenses in football. He should have a job. Gerard Mayo, I know, is a player that the Broncos interviewed. He's the linebackers coach for the Patriots. And there's so many more. It's wild to me that over 60% of the players in the league are African American, and you're going to tell me that there's one coach in the league that. Yeah. It just seems wild, and I know that. Obviously, I believe that especially with the older owners in the league, that's what the league is dominated by. Older white guys own most teams in the league. There's obviously going to be a bit of racism in higher up NFL, and it's something that will eventually start getting pushed out as these things change. The Denver Broncos are up for an ownership bid, and I know one of the people trying to buy them is, I cannot remember his name, Robert Smith?
I'm sorry, I won't be able to help you there.
I was like, look back at
You looked at me like, I don't know, man. Shit.
He is
Jim West?
the richest African American in the world. He has been shown interest in buying a football team. He would be the first African American majority owner of an NFL team, which I think would be awesome. But it's something that they have to be better on. There shouldn't have to be a rule in place that you have to interview an African American coach. There shouldn't only be one African American head coach, and the only reason he's there is because he's been there for, forever. So something that we will see change. It is something that is going to change over the next 10 to 15 years, but something I know a lot of people are upset about. And as far as like the Broncos go, I love Nathaniel Hackett. I think he's going to be a great coach, but. Without knowing the ins and outs, I don't know how any of the other interviews went. So, all right. Zach is falling asleep.
Sorry.
Every third word. It's okay. You don't have to apologize. It's almost 3:30 in the morning. So, let's get through the games from last weekend. We'll make our predictions, and then we will skid on out. So, last weekend was one of the best weekends of football I think I've ever seen. We had 3 games that all ended on a field goal at the end of the game to win the game. We had one game that got sent to overtime and was won in overtime. So the Bengals went to Tennessee to face the Titans. The Bengals ended up winning that game 19-16 with a last-second field goal. The kicker for the Bengals told somebody on the bench before he went out, looks like we're going to the AFC Championship, before he even kicked the field goal. That is some cojones on that dude.
Yeah. You could jinx something real quick.
Yeah. But, I mean, great game. 16-16. He kicks the field goal to end the game and win the game. Then we have the 49ers and the Packers. This was probably my shock of the entire playoffs so far. The 49ers, same thing. The game is 10-10. The 49ers get the ball. They drive down the field. Robbie Gould kicks a field goal to win the game. This wasn't a shock so much as the Niners winning, because the Niners have a good roster. They have a great running game. They have a great defense. The shocking part to me was the score. I thought that Aaron Rodgers didn't score a single touchdown in this game. I thought the Niners would score more points. Still, though, a great game. I mean, defensive battle, 13-10 is wildly low for two great teams. Then we had the Rams-Buccaneers. This might have been my favorite game of the whole weekend. Just because of the outcome, I really was rooting for the Rams because I love Von Miller and Matt Stafford. Buccaneers go downfield. They score a touchdown. It looks like it's going to overtime. Matt Stafford throws an absolute dime to wide receiver Cooper Kupp way downfield. They get down, they clock the ball, the field goal kicker comes out, kicks the field goal, Rams beat the Buccaneers 30-27. Then the Chiefs-Bills game. This was fucking nuts. I think they said in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, 25 points were scored.
Yeah.
They just went back and forth and back and forth. Josh Allen throws a touchdown and hits a 2-point conversion with 13 seconds to go. And I was like, oh, it's over. I mean, the Bills took the lead. They were up by 7. I was like, all right, we're done here. Bills are moving on to the next round. Patrick Mahomes gets the ball back with 3 timeouts. Hits Tyreek Hill on a pass for 20 yards. Hits Travis Kelce down the seam for 25 more yards. They call a timeout, kick a field goal, send that game to overtime. And the NFL overtime rules are, in my opinion, are dumb, because if the team who gets the first kick in overtime goes down and scores a touchdown, the game's over. The other team doesn't get a shot. So the Chiefs win the toss. The Chiefs get the kick. They march right downfield. Obviously, they weren't able to stop each other all day. It was 42-36 was the final score. They score a touchdown. They walk off. Chiefs win. This was a very fun game. I don't like the way that it ended. Overtime rules are something that's been discussed a lot this past week. And I don't know how you fix it. I know that there are multiple options. In college football, both teams get a shot, and you match each other. So say the first team gets the ball, goes downfield, kicks a field goal. Then the second team gets the ball, gets to go down the field and try and match that field goal or score a touchdown. It has to be more fair, and it's not just for this game. I mean, it happened to the Chiefs a few years ago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where Tom Brady and the Buccaneers win the coin toss in overtime. They go downfield, they score a touchdown, they win the game. Patrick Mahomes never gets to touch the ball. Same situation here. Josh Allen never gets a chance to go out there with the Bills and try and even the score. I think it is something that they are going to talk about a lot this offseason, something that they have league meetings where all the owners get together and they discuss rule changes. I think it is a rule that will get changed this offseason.
I feel like it's been changed a few times over the last few years.
Yeah. And they just need to find a way. I know the whole reason is because, I mean, you're paying these guys millions of dollars, and the last thing you want to do is have them out there for a prolonged period of time, risky injury and stuff like that. So, but there's got to be a way to do it. I've heard some funny options. Let the 2 kickers go out there and kick a ball from the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, and whoever misses first, that's who loses the game. That would be funny. I don't think that would obviously ever happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just, you got to figure something out. Zach, speaking of those games, you got all 4 of them, right? Last week, which has given you a
12 points.
commanding lead. Zach now has 59. Aaron has 48. Aaron, I think, had 2 right. I had 1 right. Gavin had 2 right. I'm at 41. Gavin's at 39. We have the champion.
Cheated his way to a win.
By stealing all of Aaron's picks.
We have the championship weekend coming up this weekend. So we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Like I said, both of these games were great last weekend. I think defensively, Buffalo had the best shot to stop Patrick Mahomes in the AFC and this offense. The Chiefs just look too dominant right now. As much as I love the Bengals and I love Joe Burrow and what they're doing over there, the Chiefs have been there. They've done this the last couple of years. I think that they come in. It's at their home stadium. I think they roll past the Cincinnati Bengals, so I'm going with the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Gavin?
Do we have an animal?
Bengals.
Bengals! Sorry, my brain just glitched out when you said it. All I heard was... I don't even remember now.
Chiefs. I mean, even if you got both of them, I think I have enough of a lead where I'll still be safe.
Probably, especially since I'm going to pick the losing team for this next matchup.
Are we still doing the...
Not true.
Because we're doing the increments on the...
If you pick the opposite team from him and you get it right, both of these games and the Super Bowl, that would give you 13 points.
If he doesn't pick the same, which you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, you would have to pick the opposite.
You got to go opposite. We got to say.
I'll do what I want.
Oh,
And
right.
the
What a
Super
cheater.
Bowl's not this week.
What a cheater.
And then, second game, we got the San Francisco 49ers heading to the LA Rams. Now,
I'm going to go Niners.
I know a lot of people are saying that the Niners are underdogs, but the Niners have beat the Rams twice this season.
Mm-hmm.
The Niners look especially dominant the last couple
by
weeks.
a field goal in overtime, both times, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so can they do that 3 times? Probably not. But I've got to go with them.
But they did just stop Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who were debatably the best team in football, and held them to 10 points.
Yeah.
I am going the Rams again. This is I love Von Miller. There's nobody else for me to root for in the playoffs that I particularly care about except for Von Miller, so I'm sticking with him until they lose. So I'm going with the Rams. This should be fun though. Both of these games should be really, really good tomorrow.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
What did you go with?
I went with my Niners.
I'm going with the Rams.
And I already know Gavin is going with Rams.
Rams!
I know during one of these, the AFC game will have a trailer doing a halftime show, which I will do a reaction for right afterwards.
Right afterwards.
Trailer for what?
Halo,
Oh, yeah.
the Paramount Plus series.
That's right.
Okay, so we have Gavin going for the Bengals. He's the only person going for the Bengals. We have Aaron going for the Niners. He's the only one going for the Niners. So big points to be made there. If Gavin gets the Bengals one right, Gavin will take the lead on me. At least will take the lead over me in third place. So I could be in fourth place potentially. So
That'd be fucking frustrating.
this is gonna be wild. Come back next week. We'll discuss in the NFL Championship weekend that'll be happening tomorrow. We're gonna break down the Super Bowl. I want to go over the NFL awards show that's gonna be coming up. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, all of that stuff. Who's gonna be inducted in the Hall of Fame? We'll obviously have some more news on the head coaching front.
Yep.
Hopefully, some more news on what's going on with Tom Brady.
Get out of here! I'm just kidding. Congrats.
And I think that's about it. We should have the NBA All-Star Game coming up in a couple weeks.
Yep.
And then, once the Super Bowl's over in a couple weeks, we're in the off-season, so we'll be going over free agency and the draft and stuff like that. But outside of that, it's going to be the slow period for sports. So stay tuned, though. We will be getting. I'll be hitting all the news that I can find that I think we should share on here. So if you made it this far into the episode, you had to have enjoyed something, whether it was all of us being exhausted or the sounds of my soothing voice.
You do have a very soothing voice. I blame
Please like, comment, and subscribe. Click that bell if you're new. We appreciate everybody that watches these videos.
Share it.
Yeah, share.
Smash that like button.
If you hate us, share us to your enemies.
Yeah. 100%.
Wish us upon your enemies.
And then you can find us on TikTok at the SplitScreeners Podcast and on Twitter at SplitScreeners_. Still trying to figure out a way to get around that. I just can't find anything else that's available for us. So, outside of that, thank you guys so much for watching.
We appreciate it.
This is a late night for us. Even I think before tonight, the latest night we've ever recorded was like 2 a.m. It is now almost 3:30. So we are all exhausted. So I'm sure we're gonna go home and
eat
go
supper.
to bed.
It's time to eat some food.
Yeah.
And
Dinner
then
time.
crash.
All right. Outside of that, it is time to
Split.